Good morning. Happy Friday. I'm on my way to work. It's been a little bit since I recorded here on TikTok, but I got a word stirring, so I just got to share. So bear with me as I'm driving. Look at that beautiful sunshine. It is going to be a great day, okay? So if you jumped on this video, it's going to be a great day for you and I, okay? So receive that in Jesus' name. Listen, this message is for those who have to feel that they need to explain themselves. And what am I saying with this? This message is for those who are overly explaining. You have these boundaries. You have these things that you're like, you know what? This makes me uneasy, and I don't like this, and I don't like that. But yet, the people that you are explaining yourself with is because you're overly explaining, hoping one day they would respect your boundaries, and they're not going to respect your boundaries. When you have to constantly over-explain, they're giving you the oh okay, and then they keep doing it again. I want to tell you today, right now, that you have to guard your heart. Proverbs 4:23 tells us to guard our hearts, for out of it, springs and flows the issues of life. How can you guard your heart in a situation where you maybe perhaps love someone, or you're so attached to someone, you have a great, one of your best friends, and whoever this person is? How can you guard your heart in a situation when this person is constantly just stomping on your boundaries? Okay? Listen, we are all healing. I don't care who you are. We are all healing. We got some things that we're still healing about. And maybe we're sharing victories of things that God has done, but there's still other victories that we're getting to. There is a such thing as a supernatural healing, and there was a such thing as a healing that takes time. Why am I saying healing that takes time? Because we need counsel and therapy. We need to be able to seek out people where we can be able to talk about the things that has been going on in our mind. Because not everything is a demon, because if it was everything was a demon, you would see people heal quick. You would see everybody just swiped away quick. But there are things that we need to be healed within our mind, and that takes counsel and that takes therapy, because we need to unlearn some things. Okay, so going back to the overly explaining yourself when it comes to your boundaries. This year, many prophets, myself included, last year we spoke about this year is going to be a year of exposure. We see this all over. We see pastors being exposed. We see celebrities being exposed. Our governments being exposed. All these hidden agendas being exposed. We see so much that it's like, what? We all should be woke by now. If we haven't, then we need to start paying attention. Because listen, why am I talking about exposure? Because although you may desire for the person that you are in this relationship with that is toxic, because let's just face it, if you're in a relationship with somebody who keeps stomping on your boundaries, and then you're trying to explain yourself all the time, I don't like this, eventually, this please don't do this is gonna be like, I said don't do it, and you're gonna fight. Come on, be real with me this morning, and it can get nasty and toxic. I want to tell you that the person that you've been explaining yourself to, you may hope that this person is going to be exposed, which they will, because God exposes all things. He doesn't like things to be kept underneath, and he will deal with it, okay? But in order for God to vindicate you, and in order for God to be on, to share or vindicate you, let's just go here. I don't know why my mind was thinking something else. But in order for God to vindicate you, and for you to be on the right side, on the righteous side, that your testimony is good, right? Is that you have to retreat from that toxic environment. You've got to retreat. If you find yourself overly explaining yourself, that person, it don't respect you. The person is toxic, and the person is not going to respect your boundaries until you step up and really do something about it, other than explaining yourself, because your words don't mean nothing. This relationship is toxic if you have to keep explaining yourself. It's toxic. So you have to really, really think about the next step and prepare your heart for that next step, because the next step is removing yourself. And a lot of people don't want to hear that, but you've got to be able to learn to move on. Move on, okay? If it's a marriage, separation is good until that person can finally get it. Hey, listen, you know what? I messed up. Being alone with God and healing and allowing God to speak. You got to remove yourself, because not only will God expose that person, but if it gets to the point, the opposite person, but it can get to the point where God can expose you. All right? Like, I know you don't want that. I know that your heart right now is in a place where you're like, God, you're praying, you're hoping, you're wishing, but you're not hearing God because you haven't really allowed him to tell you what needs to happen. We got to pray, not my will, God, but your will be done. Sometimes God's will is for you to be like, you got to go. Like, you got to go. Well, we think if it's easier, like if we're going to evangelize and we're going to go and minister to some strangers, you know, if they don't receive you, then take your peace with you and keep going. We think it's easier to keep our peace and keep going from people we don't know. But when we've connected, when we've really gotten to the place where like we've been through some stuff, it gets a little harder. It gets a little harder to retreat. We gotta do it. We gotta do it. So don't over explain yourself. Get your peace back. Get your joy back. Be healed in Jesus' name. I hope that this blessed you, and I hope you have a happy Friday.